RE has now become a very important aspect of energy planners world over, whether it is the US or whether it is India, Germany, or wherever it is. In fact, I was reading the article on yesterday's Obama speech on climate change. So now he says the country will concentrate only on clean gas, renewables, basically wind and solar. And he says anybody who wants to generate new thermal power will have to pay a price for that. And that will be passed on to the consumer. And they expect that the new thermal energy is going to cost 9 to 10% more. So this is a statement yesterday on climate change. So closer home, apart from climate change, we also have the huge current account deficit, which when talking to Mr. Kaimal today morning, we said somehow this has to be contained, and the only way to contain is to have increased the indigenous content of energy, which is the energy security. I did hear some comments regarding the parity of renewable energy, but being in this sector for quite long and also being in the advisory committee of the Regulatory Commission in Karnataka, I can assure you that the cost of wind and hydro is equal to the cost of new thermal power stations. So we have already reached a grid parity for the wind and solar sector. Maybe we are inching towards that for the solar sector. But as rightly somebody pointed out, the solar sector had different people championing it. On one side we had the National Action Plan, on the other side we had the JNNRUM, third we had the CRC issue a price, fourth we had the Regulatory Commissions issue a price, and the fifth is nodal agencies went for a bid. So in all these things, everybody says we have brought down the price, but it is like we have got a price, but we don't have a project. So we need to do something about it. Cheap doesn't mean more energy. We need to pay the price for it. And I don't think solar energy will be that cheap, because we have also bid for several projects, but we know it is not that cheap. So maybe in the next couple of years, new technologies, higher efficiencies will definitely make it more conducive for grid parity. I also thank Professor T.L. Shankar, who brought several important aspects of renewable energy, whether it is sustainable development, climate change. And for all of us, of course, he has been a torchbearer of this particular subject wherever he is, and he continues to be. Thank you, sir. I also thank Mr. Richard Hyde, British Deputy High Commissioner, British Deputy High Commissioner, Hyderabad. And I was one of those very few who, along with CI dignitaries, visited UK in the 96 and 97 to understand the NFFO. So you were the first one to come out with the renewable energy policy on the non-fossil fuel obligations. And today, I think world over, people have adopted many of those techniques, whether it is the feed-in tariff or whether it is the renewable energy certificates. Thank you, Mr. Hyde, for also pointing out how cooperation is being done between India and UK in this subject. It's also my honor and pleasure to thank Mr. Praveen Bhai Patel. The first thing I told him today morning was, Gujarat is always the talk of the town in whichever subject, and no doubt in solar they have shown a very big way, and Sardar Sarovar, that solar project, is still today the biggest in India, and it will be quite some time before any other state try to fix it. And I am very sure that Gujarat will be a trendsetter for bringing down the price of solar power to grid parity in the near future. I also thank Mr. Kamalakar Babu, and of course, as always, my good friend, Mr. Ramesh Kaimal. He has been the key person behind all these things, particularly in the GBC and the Renewable Energy Council. And wherever he is, he has been championing the cause of renewable energy. And what he says is right. While solar is most welcome, but at the same time, a country like India has about 6 lakhs megawatt of power, as told by Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory. And I am sure even if we attain 30 or 40% of that, I think that's a big number. I am sure Kaimal and his other counterparts will work tirelessly for bringing into India higher wind support. And lastly, when we talk of land and everything, I'm a developer. We have both wind, solar, hydro, everything. But when you come to a megawatt scale, solar definitely requires about 5 acres. But for an equivalent amount of wind, you require only the footprint, which is less than an acre. So still, you've got a land issue between solar and wind. But I think as time goes on, we'll sort it out. And special thanks to Mr. B. Ashok Reddy for having chaired this session. Thank you, Mr. Reddy. He has always been supportive of such programs, be it here or in the Southern Regional Council.